Hi everybody, welcome to Techie Trade Academy. In this video, we are going to be talking about CSS margins and paddings. So let's proceed. It said this presentation will explore the fundamental CSS properties for controlling spacing around and within elements and their margin and paddings. Let's proceed. So it said create CSS margins. That it create. What does margin means? Margin means creating space around the element, but padding means creating space within the element. So the CSS margin property are used to create space around elements outside of any defined border. Margins define the distance between an element's border and the surrounding element. With CSS, you have full control over the margin. CSS has properties for setting the margin for each individual sides of an element. And what are the individual sides? We have the top, right, bottom, left, as it should be. And we also have the shorthand format, that is, and the shorthand property for setting all margin property in one declaration, instead of you doing them one after the other. So the next one, it says margin, that is individual size. There's an example for that. It says CSS has properties for specifying the margin for each side of an element. We have the margin top, that it says the top margin of an element. Margin right says the right margin of an element. Margin bottom sets the bottom margin of an element. And the margin left, that is said the left margin of an element. All these margin property can have the following values. That is, you can have it as auto, which is the browser calculates the margin itself. We have length, specifies a margin in px, pt, or centimeter, etc. We also have in percentage, that it specifies a margin in percentage of the width of the containing element. Then the last one, lastly, we have inherent, that it specifies that the margin should be inherited from the parent element. So we have a tip. Negative values are also allowed. Yes. Let's try it out. I will do this example. So first thing first, let's create a p tag. I will say we are dealing with margin and padding. Let's firstly, we are dealing with margin class marg. Let's give it marg. That is trying to say margin. Oh shit. You can say margin padding. Let's tell it. We can come here, then we'll say dot margin padding. Inside it, we want to give it border 2px solid blue color which is white, and the width of the border, let's say 50 percent. So now I don't want to give it margin now, and I don't want to give it padding now. So you can see what margin up. Okay, so now let's check our results. Oh, it's already there, but the text, because we give you white. Okay, let's give it a background. Let's change this to black instead, just for us to see it. Okay, yes, this is done. So in this aspect, we are going to give it margin. Then we're also going to give it padding. I want you to focus on these four sides. You might not see effect on the you might not see effect on the right side, but focus on the left side and the top side. Because there are much spaces bottom, but you see the difference. Now let's create a margin. Let's firstly start with margin left. So we'll say margin left. We want to start with margin left. We'll say 20 pixel. Let's give this 20 pixel. Can you see there's a difference between the formal space we had, and we are trying to do individual here. So if I come again and I say margin top, and I say 40 pixel. Now let's check our result again. There's a difference up. We can do margin right as well, which is 30 pixel. You will see the little changes. It will shift left back. It's not obvious because you can't really see it, but it has worked. Then as well, the margin. Now let's do margin Margin bottom, let's give it 50 pixel. It has taken effect, but because there are spaces here and there, you might not see. But we saw the effect of the top and left bottom. That works well. Now, we talked about, if you can remember here, we talked about negative values are allowed. So let's do the negative value. Let me give this minus 10 pixel. No, 5, since we don't have much space there. Or let me do it for the top so you can the top. Okay. Let's say minus 20 pixel. This what this minus does it will move it up back. Instead of it bringing it down, it will take it up the more. Now let's check it out. Focus on this part once I reload. Can you see it gave it a negative value from its usual value? So instead of it being in its normal place, it made it move closer. So that is what they mean by negative values are allowed. Let's proceed. So it also says examples, that is individual margin, set different margin for all four sides of a p tag element. That was what we just did now. It says the margin top 100 pixel, bottom 100, margin right 150, margin left 80 pixel. Depends on what you want. So now we have the margin shorthand property. There's always a shorthand for everything. To shorten the code, it is possible to specify all the margin property in one declaration. We have the margin property is a shorthand property for the following individual margin property: margin top, margin bottom, margin left, and margin right. Just okay, we don't have a margin left, it's just margin right. So this how the shorthand property works. We have the four values, that is margin top, right, bottom, left. So margin top is 25 pixel, margin right is 50 pixel, bottom is 75 pixel. Margin top is 25 pixel, margin right is 50 pixel, margin bottom is 75 pixel, and margin left is 100 pixel. But if you have three values, margin top, then the middle takes effect of right and left, then margin bottom. 2 pixel, margin top 1, then margin right. Then if you have one value, just 25 pixel, it will give it effect in all parts. So let's go to our shorthand. I can just remove all of this and say margin. So as it is like this, I can just say 20 pixel, 15 pixel, 30 pixel, and 45 pixel. That's for the four sides. Like, so this would be top, right, bottom, left. Now let's see. Yeah, it's already working. So now if I just want three, so this will take for the top, this will take for the left and right, and this will take for the bottom. Can you see the difference? Now let's do for the two. So one we take for So one will take for 20 pixel, that is top and bottom, and 50 pixel for the left and right. Let's say. Yeah, it has taken effect already. Now, if I should remove it and I give this 40 pixel for all sides, let's see what effect it will take. Can you see the difference? So all the sides, all of them have taken effect. That's what they mean by this shorthand value. Let's proceed. So we have the auto value. That is, you can set the margin property to auto to horizontally center the element within its container. This element will take up the specified width, and the remaining space will be splitted equally between the left and right margin. So use margin auto, that is div, you give it a width of 300 pixel, then margin auto, what the margin auto will set it horizontally. Then the inherit value, you can set the margin property to inherit to let the margin be inherited from its parent element. This example lets the left margin of the element to be inherited from the parent div. Let's assume we have a div and we gave it margin left of 100%, and this pixel is inside the div. It will, if we say inherit, that is, it is going to take effect of what this app, that is, it's just like a parent and child. I want to inherit what my father has. So if my father has like a land, I'm already inheriting it. So that is what it is like this. Like, it will inherit the 100 pixel that is here. I hope you understand. Thank you for watching this video. Please do well to follow us across all socials at Tech Academy. See you next time. Bye.